Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. So today I'm going to be talking about why most people fail their fitness goals. So whatever level you're at, be it a beginner, be it advanced, there is usually a common reason why you're failing your fitness goal. And it's a dodgy one because people don't want to admit it, but it's unfortunately 90% of the time it's the truth. It's not what you're doing wrong, it's not what you're not doing, it's how you're going about doing the things you're doing. Key thing I want to point out straight away here, straight off the bat, and this probably applies more to people who are trying to get into fitness and doing what they know they should be doing, more so than advanced, but quite often it applies to advanced, myself included. They're not making what they're doing in the gym a fair test, or with their diet. None of it is a fair test. So what I mean by that is the basic principle of fair testing what you're doing, because what you're doing effectively is an experiment. You've got research to back up what's worked for other people, but you don't know if it's going to work for you until you go out there and fucking do it for yourself. You do not know. You can only predict or estimate. So if you like to admit it or not, it's a test, right? Now, in science, we learn that when you're fair testing, all right, you have to make sure that everything is measurable and consistent. Why? Because otherwise you can't reach a decent conclusion. You can't tell whether or not the experiment you were doing was conclusive. So let's take a fitness program that you're trying to do. I see people do loads of types of program, but let's just take a nice beginner's one. Let's just go with fat loss. Everyone goes on about fat loss, so let's just go on about that. All right. So someone, let's just say it's a client of mine, comes to me and say, Lewis, I want to get my body fat percentage down. You know, I'm going on holiday in 2 months. So I want to get it right down. So I say, okay. So I make them a plan. It's the same usual thing. Maintenance calories minus 200. And I make sure that what they're eating is good and the body's treating it as nutrients, that it's not just getting stored directly as body fat, and that it's not screwing over their hormones, okay? So I make sure that there's that. So I say, that's it. And I say, oh, is there anything else I need it? Nope, that's it. Literally, that is it. Everything else will be in your training, and I won't talk about that in this video, but I'll say that's it. I want you to do that with your diet. And this is what happens. They do it for a week. The second week, one day, they eat 400 calories less. They think, oh, you know, doesn't matter, I'm doing good. The next day, they'll only eat 100 less. The day after that, they eat 500 less. And then the next day, they might eat 300 less. And the day after that, they might even go 100 over. You know, there's just no consistency. So come the end of 6 weeks, or 2 months, or whatever their goal was, they'll turn around and they'll say, it didn't work for me. That calorie cutting thing, or that calorie counting, or measuring my macros and this, that, the other, it didn't work. And I feel terrible. And I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to have to face facts. Nothing's going to work for me. That's bullshit. People go about things the wrong way. This is why most of the time they will fail. I'm not saying every program out there works. It doesn't. Okay, it won't for you. There'll be things that will work better for you than others. You won't know until you try. But if you're going to try, make sure you do it right. Make sure everything you do is balanced and fair. And that you're not skipping days, you're not skipping meals, or you're not screwing your sleep up or anything like that. You must make sure that everything is in place. Give yourself a period, be it 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 2 months, whatever. Give yourself a decent amount of time to run something and then see how it works, and don't just leave it at that. Write it down, make a log, write down what you felt worked well for you about that program or that diet, that lifestyle, and write down what didn't work so good, and remember it and apply it to your next test, because the way I see it, all of the things that we're doing are experiments. You're trying to find out what works better for you. So it's important to log all this information down, and it's important to realize how you're going about things and be aware of how you're going about them, and make sure that everything is consistent. So I'm about to run out of time, but thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.